Hello, my Flosstube friends. It's time for another episode. It's time for another fun Friday Flosstube update with me. I am Annie. I am Joy-Filled Stitcher. I am Joy-Filled Stitcher here on YouTube and on Instagram. And this is take 2 of video number 45. Not video number 45 because I've had some extras sprinkled in the here or there. But Flosstube number 45, weekly update number 45. We are approaching the 1-year mark on this channel and video about cross stitch and some other things thrown in for fun and good measure. It is Friday, March the 27th, 2020, and we are within a few select days until we are in April already, and what a month this March has been. It's just another manic March. Yeah. I could go into lots of details about how this week has gone, the roller coaster that this week has been. That was the first 10 minutes of my first take of this video. But I'm going to give you the brief, long, and short of it. So first off, is this not amazing? Husband asked, are you really filming? Because he's home. Are you really filming a video like that? Oh, well, yes, I am. Because this is what my hair would look like if I was doing carpool on a Friday afternoon and it was windy and humid like it is outside. Trying to like put some normalcy into things. Some of like, you know, what it would have been. It is what it is. So this week was the first week of online learning. I don't want to say online learning because it was actually online learning, but school with me being Mrs. Mama, the teacher. And it has been an up and a down. Monday, great. 100%. Woke up excited. She was ready to go. We got things accomplished quickly. We got through it. There were no like hiccups here and there or anywhere. Awesome. Tuesday, still good. We finished early. We didn't have a whole lot of other things going on, so that day kind of felt like it dragged on. It felt like a really long day. Wednesday, things took a bit longer throughout the day, but still we were kind of done by early afternoon. We were still in pretty good spirits. We got a little gripey on Wednesday afternoon, I think is when she went over and hung out for a little bit with grandparents at their house. She had a bath. And when she came home, I was informed that she was very cranky. And I said, oh, this is a new normal for us, is we're gripey in the afternoons. Because we've been cooped up all day long. We've been out on walks here and there. We've been out scootering. Today we went to the dump twice, the bulk trash dump, because we cleaned off the back porch and got there was some brush and stuff from the winter time. So we're trying to get the backyard under control. We might be getting a trampoline. She's really excited about that, but we shall see. Because she has a lot of energy and needs to get it out. Yeah. So Wednesday was pretty good. Yesterday was a beating. Did not want to do work when she got up in the morning, but we plugged on. At 11, I had a team meeting with the other enrichment folks that went on until like 12:15. Her and her daddy went on a scooter ride and came back, and then she began to interrupt my meeting by asking me if she could have chips. Now, granted, I was on mute, but I'm trying to give her like the eyes of, no, and trying to do it without being so like a blatant like, child, I'm on a work call. So we had to have a little chat about that when mommy is doing her work call, she needs to be not distracted because I'm still getting paid to do what I do, and so that's work, and that chips are not a need. You do not need chips. So anyway, and then by yesterday afternoon, we had to have a kind of a come to Jesus. We had to come together and have a chat about maybe our structured day needs to not look like that, because that may not, like a school day isn't going to work right now, because there are times where I think day 4, which was yesterday, I think it all hit. And it was interesting because I spoke to another few of my friends who had really rough days yesterday with their kids, and with themselves. I think that being inside You know, I was a stay-at-home mom for the first 7 months of my kiddo's life, and then I went back to teaching. And I love what I do. I love being a teacher. But I'm going to tell you, when I was a stay-at-home mom, we had the opportunity to go places. And that's what's interesting is a couple of my friends that actually do homeschool their kids, they said, please don't call this homeschool because this is not what we do. The fact of the matter is, my homeschool friend moms, they go to the park. They go to the museums. They go to co-ops. They go to various and different things, academic endeavors. None of that is open. You know, we can go to the park, but the air decided to try to kill me this week. I'm being a little dramatic. But the pollen count on Monday and Tuesday rose to 11,000. That's like extremely high. You can probably still hear it a little bit in my voice. I was literally miserable Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday, I turned a bit of a corner because I took a Zyrtec in the morning and a Claritin in the evening. I take a Zyrtec every day, but I took one of my daughter's like 10 milligram Claritins in the evening. And then yesterday, some Flonase arrived. And that has made a huge difference in the amount of like congestion and pain and pressure in my head. I've got a tickle of a cough, but that's just because this has all been doing what it does, what phlegm does. I never thought I'd say phlegm in a floss tube. It's a phlegmy floss tube, in case you're not thoroughly grossed out. We are officially, as of today, they have pushed back our open date to April 13th. That bummed out Joy-filled little one because they had a field trip they have been talking about on the 7th, and I think she was still holding out hope, as any 8-year-old does, that life was going to get back to normal pretty quick. Our 2 or 3 major school districts, 4th ISD, which is our local ISD. I am a private school teacher, and she goes to private Christian school, and I go teach at that school. Our ISD, which is 4th ISD, Dallas ISD, which is huge, and Arlington ISD have all closed indefinitely. Meaning they don't anticipate being back before school is out, or within a couple of days or a week of school being out. I think 4th ISD said indefinitely, but hopeful for May 15th. And when I was telling my husband that, she goes, is that us? And I was like, no, honey, but I'm starting to think probably yes in my own mind, which just bums me out. I mean, I have 2 cousins that are seniors this year. One is a senior at University of Arkansas, Fayetteville. He is finishing out his senior year at home, not at school, not doing fraternity stuff, not doing any of that. Their commencement is going to be sometime late in summer, but he'll already be working. He has a job, so I mean, he has a job to begin once he graduates at the beginning of May. And then his younger sister's a senior in high school and is missing out on so many of those fun senior things. I mean, I'm looking at the fact that prom, I don't know. So, I mean, it affects people in different ways. I'm bummed because I don't get to see my kids every day. And not my kid, but my kids. I call my students my kids. And some of the 6th graders that I have this year, I've had for 3 years because this is my 3rd year there. And I'm just sad that I'm going to miss some things with them. Now, granted, we could turn a corner here on this, but I don't know. We have a family email kind of going around like, hey, how's everybody doing? What's everybody doing? And the one came in from my uncle, and he is a cardiologist at one of the major, like he's a private practice cardiologist, but he also practices at one of the major hospitals in the area. And so it was interesting to hear kind of his side of things. And I won't go into too much greater detail. So let's get on to cross stitch, because let me tell you, cross stitch is what's bringing me some semblance of order in my life and some joy. And I have been kitting things like crazy. I actually have some things that I'm going to share with you that I've kitted. You might have seen them if I've, like shown you a chart or whatever, but I've got like 2 buckets. So this week and next week, I'm going to show you kitting things. And I think we may do a little bit of a kitting dive to figure out what I'm going to do for Mania, because I think I'm going to jump on the bandwagon of Mania this year. Don't know what that's going to look like yet. So we'll talk more about that in plans, but I've got to finish. I didn't have any starts this week because y'all voted for a whip instead of a new start. I do have some whips I worked on. We're going to chat a little bit about plans. I have a decent amount of stash to share with you. And then, yeah, So, let's get to it. Let's get to it. First thing I wanted to share is some really cool stuff that's going on right now. There is a movement going around on Instagram. I'm gonna scoot this back a little bit because it makes it a little easier to show the goods. Called hashtag be well and stitch. And so pretty much all of my favorite chart designers, some I've never heard of, are putting out freebies, free charts, encouraging stitching to be a place of wellness, a place of mindfulness, a place of focus and calm and whatever it is that stitching brings you. And so there are so many amazing charts. I have picked 4 that I am planning to start over the next 4 weeks. 1 a week on Wednesdays, and I'm going to call it hashtag be well on Wednesdays and stitch. Because Wednesdays are that day that you're like, I can make it to the weekend. Although it now feels like when you're home all week that, anyway. So I picked 4 that really spoke to me, that I wanted to do, and believe me, there were a ton, and it was really hard to decide. But I picked kind of a largish one, a medium-ish one, a small, and is the other one a small too? And kind of a small medium. So the first one that I picked, and this is not a great picture, and I'm going to show you what I kitted it with, because I did do these from Stash, because our, as of Wednesday night, we are under our county is not calling it shelter in place because they don't want to add to the tension everybody's feeling. But it's stay home, y'all. And so our craft stores are closed. Well, okay, I thought that because I don't consider them essential. However, my mom did a curbside order at Michael's today for sprinkles for her Easter stuff at work. I was like, shady. That's fine. They found some loophole in it. I don't know what that loophole is. I mean, in my opinion, floss is essential. However, it bummed me out finding out that that was available because they had a coupon, I think. And I bought floss off of 123 Stitch. Oh, well. Keep 123 Stitch in business, which, by the way, they are doing fantastically. They put out a note that they are running a little bit behind, so don't be like, ooh, if it takes a little longer. However, I will say I've placed a fair few orders because I can't seem to get it all in one, and they've all shipped within 2 days. Even this one, after they announced that they were running a little slower, shipped like in 2 days. So, okay, so the first one, this is a Barbara Anna Designs. This is called The Key, and I just think she is fabulous. The colors are much more vibrant. She has a key. She's a funny little bird with these little crown on her head. I call that a crown. And this awesome balloon skirt and her teeny tiny little feet. And so I am going to stitch The Key. And I pulled a mixture of, I think it actually might all be the called for, or close to it. And I'm going to try to do it on this 20 count Aida. This is like a natural and white petite point. And then this is the color palette of sorts. So this is the color palette. So I don't know. I think it's going to look cute on the dots. I may not do the vines around her. I'm thinking that I might just do her with the key. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes. I don't know which one I'm going to start this coming Wednesday. We'll see. And I'm probably going to say 1,000 times in this video. And I apologize for that in advance. I'm the gal, or so. The other one that I picked is Hands-On Designs Choose Happy. Choose Happy, Be Well. And I think it's so cute. Again, my printer has decided to be kind of a jerk. I am actually stitching this on a piece of Lugana. I only need about half of this. It's a 32 count Lugana in French Blue from Hand Dyed by Stephanie. So this is the color I am using. So a light blue. Let's see. Light blue. And then I am using pretty close to the called for colors. It calls for all Weeks Dye Works. I pulled some DMC, and I did actually have one. I had one of the Weeks Dye Works, which was Aztec Red. And then I pulled some Victorian Mottos and Classic Color Works that looked pretty close to the called for. So I'm excited about this fun color palette. So yeah, that's another one. That will be coming soon. If you notice, I feel a bit frazzled, so I'll ask your understanding that it took a bit for me to get on tonight and get going, and I'm still not really in that groove, so I will get there. All right, the other one is Stitching with the Housewives, and this really printed terribly, but it's two little chickens holding a clothesline that says love, or a string that says love. I'm going to be stitching this on this small piece of 16 count really light gray Aida. That's a Mystic Fabrics, and I am using, I just pulled colors because it calls, I think they're Classic Color Works. It didn't actually say that, but I just pulled some DMC. I have a Dinky Dyes in here. I have a Gentle Arts. I have Victorian Motto. So it doesn't call for much, so most of these will going back. Now this was one actually that I think 3 or 4 of you, and I love this. I love that y'all reached out to me, and it just solidified that like this was one I was going to for sure start. The Blue Flower, Janine knocked it out of the park, and this is my battle cry throughout this, which is let joy be unconfined. So I would encourage you to let your joy be unconfined. I am going to be stitching this on, I got this from Stash Unload. It's this really pretty dusty rose. It's an 18 count Aida. And I went through, she calls for Dinky Dyes. And I went through and just did my best to find things that I had. I actually had 2 of the Dinky Dyes from a Oops bag, but I pulled some Victorian Motto. I pulled some of the DMC. And so I think that's going to be really pretty. So I don't know which one's going to get started first. My initial thought is I need to start Let Your Joy Be Unconfined. I think that's probably going to be my first Wednesday. So it's a Be Well Wednesday. Be well and stitch Wednesday. Be Well Wednesday and stitch. I don't know. There's no hashtag along with it. It's just I chose Wednesdays because I feel like Wednesdays can kind of be tricky, can kind of be tough. So I have those 4. So that's kind of the cool thing that I've seen going around. I love it that if you're wanting kind of a one-stop shop to see them all, Michelle Garrett, Bendy Stitchy, Michelle Bendy, I think is what her Instagram is. I link everything below. It will all be there tomorrow, including a link to her Instagram. She has an Instagram story highlight. So if you look in like under her bio, there's little dots. One of them is her Be Well and Stitch. And so if you click that, it'll show all of the Instagram posts. And then from there, you can click through to find, some of them are on the designer's blogs. Some of them link to like a Google Drive or a Dropbox. Some of them are available just there on Instagram and you can screenshot it. But she has all of them kind of compiled, which I think is fantastic because it was great to be able to go through and be like, oh, I didn't miss that. Oh, I missed that. Where did that one come from? So yeah, I'm really excited about those. I think that they're going to be fun new starts over the next few weeks. So again, it'll be hard to not want to start them all next week. I'm kind of bad at that. All right, so let's talk about my finish that I had. I worked on this last week and I shared it with y'all last week. And I'm really excited to say that I finished stitching it. And this is from the 2017 Just Cross Stitch magazine. It was the Ornament, Christmas Ornament issue. It's by Hands On Designs, and it is Joy. This called for 28 count Phoenix by Picture This Plus. My LNS only had 32 count, which is fine with me. I did a bit of conversion because at the time that I did this, I did not like Weeks Dye Works. Now I do. And I have a nest egg to it. But I converted it to Classic Color Works, and I will share that below in case you're curious. And for those who don't know, you can still get the back issues of Just Cross Stitch magazine. I'll put the link below. And I think the last I looked, the digital issue is only $5.99 for the whole issue. And this one specifically, I have the 2017, 2018. I might have the 2019. 2017 has a ton of good ones. A ton. So anyway, it is a finish. So as you can see, there is my Joy piece. I was going to see if I could get this to show up a bit better, because the red kind of blows it out. But one thing that was cool is it had a couple of different, it had Smyrna crosses, which I have done those before, but this had what was called a rounded herringbone stitch. I think that's what it's called. Let me verify that. Rounded herringbone stitch. So I've done a herringbone on my calico sampler, but I have not done a rounded herringbone. It's not a hard stitch. It was unique. It gave it a different feel. So I actually have another half of this, and I don't know what I'll use it for, but it's a really pretty fabric. So again, it's Picture This Plus Phoenix 32 count. So I'm excited about that. I need to get it finished. I do like their finish that they kind of highlighted that green with the pop of ribbon. So we'll see. I don't know if I'll do it that way or not. We'll see. But I did get a finish. That was nice to have one. Another one. We obviously are not to the end of March yet, so I have no stats for you, but I've had a pretty productive month. I'm hoping April can be even more so. All right, now what did I work on? I did work on Joy. I worked on my Nativity finger puppets. This lives in a GaRon Tottenbags. This was an Oops bag that I got around Christmas time. And those of you who have been with me for a while, you know that I have another Oops bag that has Batbirds, and that originates from a pouch I sewed that has bluebirds on it. And I realized after I had done the whole thing and turned it over that the back of it, the birds were upside down. And my daughter goes, because they had been studying bats at the time, she said, "Oh, they're Batbirds. They hang upside down like bats do to sleep." So when GaRon posted one of their, I think it was the winter Quaker bag that has the cardinals on it, their Oops ones were upside down. And I was like, more Batbirds. So then posted this one, and it has Acrobat Santa on it because he's upside down. So this is my Acrobat Santa bag, and it has the little starlight mints on the inside. But this houses my Nativity finger puppets, which is a chart by Doreen Jones. I used this for my cross stitcher's journal prompt, and so these are little finger puppets of the Nativity, and I am currently working on Mary, and I was doing her blue dress because it was a prompt about light blue. I have my flosses for this in a, this is the bendy flip side size, so it has 12 pockets. It has the big pocket on the back with my extras. And I am stitching this on 18 count Antique White Aida. And I got a bit of progress on this. So I already had this white outline done, and I did all of this blue. It may not seem like much, but good gravy. I think it was my husband was hanging out with us when I was working on this. I was like, I'm done with this blue. And he was like, why don't you just finish out? Nope, I need to do something different. So yeah, that's just, there's more of that blue. That's a good one, like when we were sitting, I think we were watching a movie or something, to have that going, because once I had the outline, it was just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I am not a huge fan of big blocks of color, but I'm also not a big fan of fiddly color changes. So I'm kind of like, I want it in between. A good happy medium. I worked on my animal almanac and used that twice for 2 different tasks. That is not this bag. Where is that bag? It's not in here. I'm going to have to pause and go grab it. So hold on just 1 second. I'm back. So I have all sorts of extra stuff, but I don't even have one of my projects. It's kind of how this week goes. So this lives in a bag that I sewed up myself with some cute fabric that has little animals wearing sweaters and things like that. Because this holds my Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery Animal Almanac. Excuse me. And this one also has a Flossbuddy. This one is a 25 pocket. I am currently working through the March block, the March installment. I'm not very far. I think I only have like 100 and maybe close to 200 stitches left to finish him out. I don't have a cover image for this because it changes each month, and I've talked about that before. But you'll be able to see what it is this month. I am stitching this on a piece of 18 count Snirt by Mystic Fabrics. I did one color change on this. I used this for actually 2 of my Cross Stitchers journal prompts this week. One of them was to stitch in Kelly green, so I ended up switching the frog because the frog was supposed to be a lighter green. I'll show you in a minute. And then I also worked on, I can't remember what the other prompt was, but it fit for this too. So this is Leap the Frog. So since you saw this last, I've put in almost the rest of the colors of the rainbow, the water, the lily pads. I stitched in Leap. I did actually swap out the color because he was supposed to be this same light pale green. I wanted him to be green, like a green frog. And so I went ahead and chose a different color. I think, in case you're curious what I am doing with mine, that was 702, DMC 702. This month I actually, I was not super loving the 2 strands of a toile. It felt like it was bunchy. So I just went ahead and used the regular $37.99 and the $6.48 maybe. Just the standard DMC. Now I am doing this a little bit differently. I am stitching each one separately and doing them as a banner. My daughter collects snow globes. She loves animals. She has a menagerie of stuffed animals. She's super excited each month to see what's going to be stitched up. It's going to eventually say at the bottom, these will all be replaced with letters that will spell out her name and zoo. And so I'm trying to keep up with these one a month. So far this was the first month, and I have still not gone back and ripped out the corners because I decided I liked it last month with just the bubble shape, the snow globe shape. Roar the penguin, Remy the fox, and Leap the frog. And then I can tell you from the little bit of sneak peek that I was actually quite right about what April was going to be. I mean, I think most people could guess what April would be. And you would probably be right. So I'm excited about getting this one finished up this next week. So I'm on top of it when the new one comes out. So that's kind of on the immediate plans. We're not really talking about plans, but it is on the immediate plans. Okay, I pulled out for another prompt something about grass. Something that had grass. This is a pouch project sleeve I did. This is my Plum Street Samplers Cereal Bowl Collection Sampler Lesson 4. And I am stitching this on 25 count Lugana in Ash Rose 1/1. And this one is one that came with the flosses, the Classic Colorworks flosses, as called for. And I got a fair bit of progress this week. I'm actually really excited. So I stitched the outline of the green of the grass and both of these little cool flowery things. These are the stems of stalks of these flowers. And this is where the cute little lady girl is going to be standing. So now my goal, my next kind of completion point on this is I will start filling in the green, but then I'll work on something else. Fill in some green, work on something else. There's a little house that sits right here. There's some flowers that go here and here. There's the little lady, and then there's words. Yeah, there's words. So then there's the words above and below. And I've also got 4 more little pumpkins to fill in the middle of with the lighter colored. So yeah, I really like this. It has shown me just how much I love anything to be teeny tiny. So pay attention when I get to stash, because I am going to share some planned stash acquisition things. What is this in here? Oh, because it has my fabric on it, because I wouldn't remember. No, I would remember. I remember those things actually pretty well. All right, I pulled out my Linens and Threads Mystery Sampler 2020. This lives in a GaRon Tottenbag. This is the January bag of the month. This was a 12 by 18 bag. I'm stitching this on a piece of 32 count Mystic fabrics. It is their Stitch Your Own Adventure fabric, so it's kind of close to like a Veterus, Snirt, Neutral. Like, you don't really know, you might get one of 4 different combinations. But when I started to think about this piece and what I wanted to stitch it on, I knew I wanted it to be a neutral. And since I wasn't doing Stitch Your Own Adventure, I had this huge swath of fabric. And so I realized, well, I can use it for this. So I am working my way through the March release. Just let me fold this in some way I can show you. This I used for Cross Stitcher's Journal, and it was stitch on a whip of your choice and do 432 stitches. I actually did 578 because I wanted to do the outside of this huge motif. So this is where February ended. This is March. There's more inside here. There's some more of these little like Ohio stars in here. And then there's another motif down here as well. I am stitching this. Here, I'll show the whole thing now. So this is where we are with January, February, and March. I'm going to have to hold this back more. It's like a full-on sheet. I'm loving it. And I am finding a way to get all of my colors in to each month's release. I have purchased more of each of my colors because I realized I don't have near enough. This, I'm using a Flossbuddy Bendy Flip. This is just a random, I think it's a Harry Potter one. And this is my color palette, which is Gentle Arts Victorian Pink, Pink Azalea, which I'm getting low on. However, I have another one back here. Weeks Dye Works Strawberry Fields, Gentle Arts Tropical Ocean, Weeks Dye Works Cadet, and Gentle Arts Soot. And so I have ordered some more of each of my flosses. So that is going to get some more love because I would like to, again, stay on top of it. All right, so then this week for the bracket for Stitchy Madness, SCS March Madness, I put up a vote on my Instagram for either my whip, which is Jane Marshall 1857, or a new start, which was Lizzie Kate's Cherish All Living Things, and y'all chose my whip. So this lives in a GaRon tote bag. This is By Hands Across the Sea. This is Jane Marshall 1857, and I am doing a full color conversion. I am using this for a Cross Stitcher's journal task this week. Yes, this week. Something about how you saved money. Well, I initially had said when I purchased this, I was going to purchase the silk pack from Mrs. Sados, and I chose to go through my own silks and pull Mrs. Sados silks, thread pickers. I've got dinky dyes in here. So I pulled, instead of spending money, I pulled what I already had. So I felt like that saved me money. This is on a piece of a one-off from Mystic Fabrics. It's a 32 count. It's pretty close to a Veterus or a Snirt. And so I put in about 315 stitches. And that got me Jane. This whole row of numbers, this is a Dinky Dyes 20. And then the checkerboard part of this, which is also in Dinky Dyes 20. So, trucking right along, this didn't take me long. I do super love that the last number on this row is 13, because that is my lucky number. I'm enjoying this. This is a fun stitch. This is a beautiful piece of fabric to stitch it on. The silks are stitching up beautifully. So far I've done 1 Dinky Dyes and 1 thread pickers. It is my first go round with thread pickers. They're awesome. They're in a Facebook, I think you buy through their Facebook group. I did it through their sale last September. They let you do a payment plan. That was kind of cool. So yeah, I will link that again below. And then the last thing that I worked on this today. This lives in a Be Crafty Bags. This is some fabric that I have loved. This actually used to be bulletin board fabric in one of my classrooms. And then this was a coordinating one that I had. They were both Hobby Lobby fabrics. I think this is an Alexander Henry from back in the day that he did for Hobby Lobby. Anyway, I sent it to Be Crafty Bags, and she made me a bag. This holds a few of my little Christmas smalls. Well, the one that was spun, I think it was spun last week, or I might have dreamed it and wanted to work on it and pulled it out, is Chicken Joy. And this is by Priscilla, Stitching with the Housewives. So this is a freebie. I actually managed to get myself a picture on my phone so I could show you. So, as best I can without it blowing it out. It's a cute little tree, a chicken, and the word joy. You know, I love anything with joy on it. I will eventually have a whole joy wall. Except I had seen someone, and I wish I knew who it was. I will go back and see if I can find it. Who loves pink trees and stitched the tree on this design in pink. And I went, yes, because we have at least 2 pink trees in our house. And so they shared that they were using Weeks Dye Works Crepe Myrtle. So I was like, I like Weeks Dye Works. I like it now, which is good because I chose to. And I am doing this on 20 count charcoal Aida. I just found this on 123 Stitch. And I'm loving the teeny tininess of it. I've not done much. I literally only had like 10 stitches right here. So I've done about 170 more. But the inside of the tree will be in this pink. So I'm excited about that. Let me see if I can put something behind this to make it. So anyway, I'm excited. I think it'll be cute. Fun little stitch to pull out from time to time. It actually, those stitches did not take me very long. And I love tiny stitches. I love tiny stitches. So that was all that I worked on this week. Which may not seem like much, but some of those projects got like 600 and 700 stitches in them. So I was like, yes. And I'm trying to get my head wrapped around Cross Stitcher's Journal because things, you know, I said the prompts in there run usually 2 weeks, but they overlap by a week. So I'm getting the hang of it. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about plans. And the first thing that I would like to do is go ahead and spin for my Barbara Anna Designs Monday, or my Bad Monday, and my Flossmas Focus. So back in December, I started 9 Barbara Annas. You know what I just realized? Why I didn't do my Barbara Anna. Okay. My Barbara Anna for last week was Santa's Flight, and I told you I was going to pick a new fabric for it. I didn't get the fabric that I thought I wanted to use until later on in the week. And so I didn't get anything done on that. But that's okay. So let's see. Let's spin for Barbara Anna Monday. We're going to try to do this. Actually, you know what? I think I saw something where... Let's see. I need to investigate this because the reason why I say that is I noticed that Michelle Bendy, hers is black on the background. So I think that must be dark mode on her phone or something. So let's spin. Let's see what we get. Needlework. That's actually really close to a finish. I might very well get a finish this week. So we shall see. All right, now let's spin for Flossmas. Excuse me. Let's spin. Rack stack. And actually I was going to talk to you about rack stack because I got new fabric for it. So I'm going to talk about those when I get to stash. So we've got Barbara Anna Designs Monday, or Bad Monday, is going to be... What did I even just spin? Oh my gosh, my brain is so fried. Needlework. And then Flossmas is going to be rack stack. So my goal is to get some time into each of those. All right, so let's talk. All right, so March Madness. Each week I've done a matchup. Sunday, and actually I may post it tomorrow. I'm going to post the 4 winners. So I've got, and I'm going to show you. So let me grab them. Hold on. 2 of them you've already seen. I'm going to show you the other 2 in case you are new, which, by the way, if you are new here, welcome. If you're returning, well, welcome back. I love having you around, hanging out with me on Friday nights or Saturdays or Sundays or whenever you get a chance to watch this. All right, so my 4 charts that I've worked on during March Madness are the Cereal Bowl collection. That was week 1. Week 2 was, see, y'all were great because y'all did 2 whips and 2 new starts. Was my Blue Flower Quilting Bee, which I am pushing for a finish early this month, before its birthday on the 15th. So here's where this one is, in case you have not seen it in a while. I've got the rest of the frame to do. So, hopefully I can push for a finish. Oh, itchy nose. Of course I've got Flosstube itchy nose. I've got allergy-induced itchy nose. Okay. And sampler lesson 4, which you already saw. Jane Marshall, which you already saw. And, actually these need to go on the other side or I'm going to run out of room here. The last one, which also leaves in a GaRon tote bag, is Blue Flower Winter Valentine. And this is where that one is. So I think what I'm going to do is put up some form of a question and let you pick. Let you pick which one. Oh my gosh. Which one I work on for the last little bit of March. I won't get a finish. That's not even on my radar to get a finish. So, that's going to go up probably tomorrow on Instagram. So if you follow me on Instagram, look for it, vote for it. Thank you. All right, I'm still trying to wrap my head around quarantine stitchy roulette. I think it's probably not going to happen. My thought is with sharing some of my kitted things, if I'm feeling just like I need something new, something to break up the monotony or whatever, I can start something. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a wheel and get that all going. Get everything loaded on the wheel. Anything that's fully kitted, ready to start. Because I do have some things that are kitting, like I'm waiting on a piece of fabric, or I don't have a piece of fabric, or I'm waiting on a floss and I don't want to buy that floss right now, or whatever. But only the things that are ready to get started. But my thought is I've got to wrap my head around Mania first, because I don't want to start Mania starts. Although Mania could be whip Mania. It could be that I spin each day and figure out which whip I use. So anyway, okay, I'm getting way off on a tangent here. So Stitchy Roulette, I think it's on the back burner. I'm not doing that. All right, I do have a couple of planned starts coming up here pretty soon. The first one is going to be gathering eggs, and I have to show you. I put it in my GaRon tote bag that I showed last week. And this is a Mirabilia. This is the style Mirabilia I love. Are these kind of more vintagey looking ones. And so this is called Gathering Eggs. And I'm going to be stitching this on 32 count Storm Lugana. It's a picture of this plus. And I've shown the color palette before, but oh my word, when I was kitting this, I was like, dude, I'm just going to show you. It is bright. Look at this. It is so bright and fun. I'm excited. It's got a lot of colors, and it doesn't look like it's that big. So I think I might get into some situations of confetti heavy. Anyway, I'm going to start that Easter week. So I will start that on the Monday of Easter week. So that is coming. So here's the deal. Rack Stack got spun. So I was going to show you that I actually have Rack Stack. This isn't a Made by Mama Joan bag. I moved something else out. It moved into an acorn bag because it was an acorn thing. I had originally started this on this like terrible cardboard. It's not terrible. Some people love stiff, especially if you're stitching in hand. This would soften up. This doesn't even hardly hold well in my Q-snap. I have literally one pair of reindeer legs. So I am probably going to de-stash this for like a couple of bucks, which is about what I paid for it. I will pull out the reindeer legs. I bought 36 count the Mermaid's Brew. I am going to de-stash this. In fact, I need to pull these out. And here's why. After all this tiny things, I'm going to be restarting this on 25 count 1/1. But I don't want to show you yet what it is because I'm not into stash yet. So I'm going to keep this to the side. And then Gobble Gob is also getting restarted. So I had this going on a piece of 32 count Oaken. And here's what I don't like about it. I don't mind the fabric at all. I don't like how my turkeys don't like pop on it. I think it's all just too similarly like muted out. So I'm going to be picking some of the new. And it's also going to be 25 1/1. So this one lives in an It Is Kismet bag, little half-size bag that I love. I also with Gobble Gob because, dude, lots of flosses, lots of color changes. I'm going to be simplifying big time. I have already simplified Hen Peck, and I have also already simplified She Peep, which is in my stuff to share with you. And I will be simplifying Rack Stack and this one because I have noticed that that is the thing that I like the most about Priscilla's conversions is she doesn't do fiddly color changes. She kind of likes, like, instead of 4 different greens, she might have 2 different greens, and only if necessary. Okay, so one other thing, plan-wise, before I share some kitted stuff. Actually, I think one leads into stash, so we'll do kitted stuff at the end. But WhipGo was spun today. I'm not going to tell you what the numbers are. If you are part of WhipGo, go watch Jessie Marie's little video. I don't want to steal her thunder, but I will tell you which projects are mine. And one of them is Gobble Gob. So I don't really need to show it again. So I'm getting a restart on it. And I'd like to finish it by the end of the month. So we'll see. So Gobble Gob is one of mine. The other one, I was like, oh, poop. But I put it on there, so it's my own fault. It lives in a sweater bag. This is my one and only Heaven and Earth Designs. And this is Quick Stitch Tranquil Tulips. This is by Hannah Disney. Artwork by Hannah Disney, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. It is a quick stitch. I have this, the flosses for this, which are gorgeous. Living in a 90 pocket Flossbuddy from BagzPlus. Look at that. Oh, it's so pretty. So pretty. And I love the frog fabric. So fun. I have a grime guard that is by GaRon Tottenbags, and actually a needle binder. And I have the most pitifulest of starts. And my goal is a page 1 finish. So I am not doing parking on this. I am doing, because it kind of goes right now in bands of color. And then I've just pulled through so that as I stitch, it will it'll tuck those and then I can pull them back through and clip them. This is 18 count easy grid, and I have it on an 8x11 Q snap. I would like to get a page 1 finish, and I do have Pattern Keeper. I have it on a Kindle Fire 7 or something, so it's kind of small, but I have it, and I've reassessed coming back to this several times. It just never is what gets pulled. And it's not that I don't love it, and I'm probably going to get obsessed with it now, but it's just so pretty. And I tried to do it like as a diamond painting, and I was like, I don't even like diamond painting. What am I doing? So that didn't happen. All right, so I think I've talked a little bit about a lot of things. So now we get into the longer portions of this video, which are the kitted things I'm going to share with you at the end, and my stash. So let's do some joy-filled stashy stash. And I call my... It's not a video with me if something doesn't fall on the floor. I feel like I just need to breathe. But I just need to breathe. I think that's something I've forgotten to do this week, is to breathe. Is to breathe and remember that it's all going to be okay. Everything's going to be good because we've got stash. I've been some more supporting the small group, small business economy. Oh, by the way, pay attention when I'm sharing some of my stashy things because there's a coupon code in here and I need you to hear that. Okay. So, here we'll do our little intro. It's joy-filled stashy stash time, and it's kind of full and a lot of stuff to share, which I'm really excited about. So I think where we're going to start first is, you know, last week I was like, well, I'm still waiting on an order from Crazy Annie's. I had purchased, they did a Super Bowl sale. And it was their clearance album, and a lot of the things was 2019 Nashville stuff and some other things they were just trying to clear out. I got it this week. You do the math on that. But anyway, so I got a few things. I got the 2019 Nashville Needlework Market Cookbook. So, and it's got charts throughout as well. So, I've looked through it briefly. They didn't really have any with pictures to share. But, like, look at how cute that little cute Scarlet House is. Anyway, so I got that. I got the Gentle Arts Limited Edition 2019. They had Fig and Harbor Gray. So they had these on sale, and I got two sets since they are the limited edition, and I think they're really pretty. So I got those. And then I also got the newest Classic Colorworks color pack. I did not know that Sticks and Twigs was one of the new ones, because I've noticed that I've used that. I have that on at least one chart or more where I wasn't able to find Hick sticks, and I pulled Sticks and Twigs. I think maybe Gobble Gobble is one of those. Okay, anyway. They also had Erica Michaels. This is My Needleberry. Now, this is the Silk Berry. So this has the silk gauze, I believe, in it. I am not planning on stitching it on the silk gauze. As you can see, they have 3 different sizes. I think it's based on if you stitch it. So this model is stitched on the 40 count silk gauze. I might try it. We'll see. And then it looks like okay. So this is what they're saying about this. This one right here, if I'm right, is on the silk gauze because it's like 1/1. The extra large one is on 40 count over 2. So you can see just the difference in size. And then this one I think is the linen one. So there's a linen one. Now this is what's interesting is these are not too the linen versus the silk are not too terribly different in design. Often hers are different in design if it's the silk versus the linen. The linen one was sold out from the clearance album. So I was like, since they were so similar and I liked the silk one, I went and had got the silk one. And it was on sale. And I had never seen this one. Now I've seen it a bunch since I bought it. But I thought it was so cute and I cannot wait to do this one. I am going to do a little converting to make it look like Joy-Filled Little One. But this is Scarlet House Morning Walk. And I think that is so cute. Now we don't have 2 dogs or a dog and a cat. So I'll probably make one of these a dog and then leave the other one out or something. I don't know exactly. Or put another flower or extend the fencing or move her over. I don't know that yet because we don't have 2. Or I may just leave it as it is. I don't know. I just think it's really cute. So yeah, got that one. All right, so then I set about starting to pull flosses for Heartstring Samplery, Consider the Lilies. And it is a massive chart. If you are not familiar with it, I showed it on one of my videos, my market recap kind of a thing. Like what I got at market day and all that. Or, no, that's wrong. I showed it in a Friday video. 2 videos, I think, ago. Because I got it from Julie Gulf Coast Stitches. And yes, I think that was actually only like 2 weeks ago, except it feels like 100 years ago. All right, enough muttering under my breath. I realized that there were a significant number of flosses that I could convert with things I already had, or if they needed more than one, which there were several that needed more than one, I could maybe find something that was Victorian Motto. And one thing that I will tell you is Victorian Motto Sampler Shop has their Floss of the Month, but I have shared before that she has an eBay shop, and I'll link it below. Her eBay shop has flosses available. Her stock kind of rotates as she has them. But one thing that's nice about a lot of her flosses on the eBay shop is they have DMC conversions. So I got some of the flosses that are going to convert. It's not much to really show. Some of the flosses to convert for Consider the Lilies. And then I also got 2 that are going with another chart I'm showing in here in a minute, which is the Berry Bowl sampler. So this is Chocolate Mousse and Waves of Grain. And then these are Flax and Mane, Sunny Day, Wheat Fields and King's Gold, Cream Puffs, and English Walnut. So yeah, I got those. Those are going to go in with those 2 charts to be kitted. I'm working through Consider the Lilies. It might actually get started in May. It might be my 1-year Flosstube start. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm still waiting on the fabric from Coloring Cotton, so it's not getting started anytime soon. Alright, so just the next thing in my bucket is I have been jonesing after these. I've seen several folks stitching it. One of them, I believe, is Erin 2 Martini Stitchers. Hers, she got like as a kit, like with the flosses and all of that. I had been looking for these, and I've seen several people have them posted on Stash Unload for a price that I didn't think was reasonable, considering that they are still available on 123 Stitch for about $8 to $9 a chart. This person had them for $20 for the 3. So this is the Mystery Sampler Holly and Hearts. So it's a 3-part club. And I love, this is a Christmas Carol. I actually have Christmas Promise, which I had started. It was on 22 count. I didn't like it. I didn't like how the floss would slip under, kind of like a linen or a 25/1. I just didn't like it. But I love the sentiment behind it, which is, I will honor Christmas in my heart and try to keep it all year through. So it's got 3 parts. It's got the sentiment that I love from Christmas Carol. So this is exciting. I think I ended up purchasing the flosses for this from Threads and Twined or 123 Stitch. I have a couple of different orders coming from a couple of different places. I have it all written down. It's just not in front of me. Okay, I'm going to do that. Yeah, I'm going to do this one next. No, I'm not. I'm going to do it because it's real crinkly, and I need to maybe adjust that. Okay, so I was enabled by Kristen. She is Blue Bonnets and Whiskey. She is a local stitcher to my area. And she and Christine of Hollis, she's actually the proprietor of Hollis Hands Creates. She's Mick Mama Hollis. I'll link below. And then Kristen, who is Blue Bonnets and Whiskey. They they're going to do the Berry Bowl sampler. This was a collaboration piece from this year from Heartstring Samplery and the Scarlet House. And I love berry bowls in all the different little charts that I'm doing. And this has like a billion beautiful ones. And in the middle it says, life is sweeter when shared with friends. This was actually stitched in 2 parts and then seamed. And the 2 parts are Picture This Plus Wren and Heartland. I don't really want to do 36 count, but I feel like I need to do, this is over 1 in the middle. I've not been able to source both of them in a different count from anyway. So I have not yet decided on the fabric, but I am contemplating this because I've lost my mind using 2 different excuse me, I've ordered some of them 25 counts 1/1. We'll see. I might. Anyway, they are selling this, so I will be selling along. It is starting May 1st, and it is #BerryBowlSal. Because it is the Berry Bowl sampler. And so I got the chart from her. She's like literally an hour away from me. I think she shipped in and it was delivered like that day. Okay, maybe not, but it felt pretty close. Her card, her Hollis Hands Creates card, is actually a project information card. I love that. So that will be going in my project bag when I figure out which one it is. And I went ahead and got some flosses from her. She does carry a lot of the fancy flosses. And some of these, I think there's one that is not for this. This one, Green with Envy, is part of Consider the Lilies. I could not find it or anything equivalent to it, Victoria Motto. And 123 Stitch was out of this. Threads Entwined was out of this. And so I ended up snagging this from Hollis Hands Creates from Christine. And I got some of the flosses. I chose to play a little bit with the floss colors. These are as charted. Some of the, when I kit, I sometimes don't do exactly as called for. I use what I have that's close, or I tweak things just a little bit. On this one, I maximized my budget by, if it didn't feel like it was an important variegation point, I used the DMC or something I had. So anyway, I'm excited about this one, May 1st. So I guess it could be considered Mania. It will go in that, and I'm excited about it. I think it's super fun. So yeah, if you're interested, jump on board with that. I've seen this on lots of places. I definitely recommend, and will link below, Christine's shop, Hollis Hand Create. She's on Etsy. So yeah, great service, super fast shipping. Yes. Okay, so then I have a mirror chart that has been my, like, I saw it once and I was like, does that exist? It's a unicorn. Okay. And I know that unicorns don't really exist. This is clearly not a unicorn because I found it. The thing is, I've only seen them here and there, but they've been ridiculously expensive. And so I think it was Tuesday or Monday. It was early in the week and then it got here pretty quick. I saw this, it popped up in my notifications because I had kind of been watching some, and I had, like, you know, hey, notify me if one goes up. And the person had it for a fairly reasonable price, but they said, make me an offer. So I made an offer, and they countered back, and then I countered back once more, and they accepted it. And so I got it for a steal. And I'm so excited. I consider this kind of a patriotic stitch, and I know that my friend Becca, Sambry Stitches, has gotten both of her mirrors. Like, so this must be Mirror Unicorn month, because I think she's gotten both of hers this month from what I've seen. So this is Ashley's Roses, and I love it. I love the two different checks on her skirt. I love the movement of her skirt, this big, huge bow, the roses, the flower. Like, I'm just so excited about this one. And so, I don't know when it's getting started. I'm not even really pulling flosses for it yet. I will say, other than my other ones that I bought that were, they were not opened. Now I have looked, the chart is in pristine condition. I don't really care about the envelope, but it was not, they did not tell me it was going to be like this. So that's kind of a bummer. And I will contact the seller and say, hey, by the way, you said it was new and unopened. This is clearly not new and unopened. Don't claim it to be something it's not. That's kind of a bummer, but the chart's fine. I'll live. It's got the cover photo. I'm going to put some tape or something back here to hold that so it doesn't get all funky on me. All right, so I have two more things, two more order places. So, in fact, 9 o'clock is rolling around here pretty quick, so I need to get moving. Because, if you did not know, Friday nights with Be Stitch Me Fabrics is Friday Night Fight Night, FNFN, where she posts fabrics. They are one-off, kind of like Mystic Fabrics. I'm sorry, there's a lot of crinkling going on. I should have pre-crinkled this. And last week's were phenomenal. I have been wanting to beef up my neutrals. Always beefing up my neutrals. So this is actually a 32 count Lugana in Mummy. This is Brandy at Be Stitch Me. And I think this is beautiful. This is very similar to like a parchment color, Veterus. It's a big piece too. I could maybe get even more than one thing on here. So anyway, I know that with all of these Noras and Miras and everything that, you know, 32 is a pretty standard on those because of the bead size. And so I always look to see what she has, and especially if it's neutral. I'm not going to take these out, but this is an 18 count Artemis, which is a light blue gray. I went ahead and got an 18 count in the Mummy. And I got an 18 count in gray. And I love my grays. I love grays and I love grays. Grays. Gray. So I love those. And then like the next day she did a pattern destash. I'm not seeing this one, but I'm glad I like looked at it, because if I had just scrolled past it, I would have been like, meh. It's a Jardin Privé and it's Quaker de la Ferme. So it's farm Quaker. So as you can see from far away, it just looks like a Quaker, but when you look close up, you've got a barn, you've got a duck, you have a bee scap, you have a farmer lady, you have a rooster, these little sheep, a cow with a bird on its back, watering can, a little picket fence. So I'm excited about that. I've got to figure out if I want to do it in the called for DMC, which is the dark red, or if I want to do something different. I could see this being really good in like barn door, or even doing like a little barn door and a little brother in blue, or brother in blue, barn door, and like blackboard or soot. I don't know. I've got to figure that out. This one will probably get kitted here pretty quick. I don't know if it'll get started, but I think it's so cute. I love it. Okay, so anyway, there's that. All right, so one more thing. Got a 1, 2, 3 stitch order. I have more coming. But this one was, I am doing 4 of the stacks for now. I am doing Gobble Gob, which is started but will be restarted. Rack Stack, which is started but will be restarted. Hen Pack, which is like my summer. Gobble Gob is fall, Rack Stack is winter, and so She Peep is going to be my spring. I have since ordered some of the additional flosses, but I did go ahead and get a Classic Colorworks Shabby Sheep, because Shabby Sheep is my favorite. I did get, I needed black coffee for 2 different charts, and when I had tried to order it from somewhere else, it was out. I got an alert that it was available, and so I snagged 2 of them, because that's a great feature of 1, 2, 3 Stitch, that you can be notified when something comes back in stock, or if it goes on sale. So that's pretty cool. And so I needed black coffee, and I, was like, okay, fine, whatever. And then they notified me, and I went, okay, well, I need some other stuff, so I'll just get it. Okay, and then I needed lichen, because I had inadvertently, when I bought stuff at Market Day at the Stitch Itch, I bought 2 linens, because reading, and I needed lichen, and then I needed Joshua Tree, and they were out of this at my LNS, so they had that. So I grabbed those. Those are for different projects. Don't ask me exactly which ones right now. And then I beefed up my stock of 25 count. So the first 4 that I have on top here are the contenders for my 4 stacks. So I am thinking that I'm going to do, this is Water Sapphire, that I'm going to use that for Rack Stack, I think. This is Pewter, and I think I had determined Pewter was maybe going to be for, now I have to think about it. I think this one I was thinking might be good for Gobble Gob, because Gobble Gob is really warm tones against the cool, I think. This one, which is the Potato, I think I considered Potato for She Peep, but I actually think it might have been Hen Pack. I need to look and see, because I think I wrote it down. And then I have Mushroom, and I think Mushroom might have been for She Peep or Hen Pack. I don't exactly remember, to be perfectly honest. And then I bought some other ones, because I wanted to see what the colors were. So this is Moss Green. These are just the small pieces from 1, 2, 3 Stitch. They are the 9x13, and they're roughly between $2 and $4. And most of these I would be able to get 2 of them on there. This is Wedgwood. I love Wedgwood, and this is a contender for something. This one is Stormy Night, which I think is really cool, hand-dyed looking. And then you've got another one, which this one is Stormy Clouds. So I did actually, after seeing some of these and knowing there were some other ones that I wanted to add, when I placed another order, I ordered some more. I also think I had considered for Berry Bowl Sal, and I think I rebought these for it, because it's like Wren and Heartland, that I considered doing Mushroom and Pewter as my 2 sides. But then I had also thought, okay, well, what about Pewter and Potato? And I was like, ooh, that looks pretty good. So I haven't decided on that yet. I need to figure that out though. I do. And I'm going to sit down and do floss tosses with my stacks and figure out which one I like best. But I do have another order coming with some other colors. I did get more of that Ash Rose Lugana because I love it. And I could see myself stitching something else on it. I love pink. I love pink and blue. Pink and blue. So anyway, that was my little 1, 2, 3 stitch acquirement. This was actually not a very expensive order because it was like the most expensive thing was the chart. And I think it was even maybe on sale. I don't remember. Okay, so that is all for stash. Now, if you are like, hey, I don't care about what you kitted. I don't care what you have going on coming up or what you know, I don't want to be enabled. I don't want to see what you have because there's some cool stuff over there. I'm just saying. Like, I didn't design it, but it's pretty good. I'm going to bid you farewell. But if you're going to hang around, that would be awesome. I am going to go ahead and pause you real quick so I can shift some buckets around and get the other one over closer to me. So hang tight for just a second. All right, so as quickly as possible, let's talk about some kitted items. So this is a pouch. It's the original Batbirds pouch. And in it I have, this is a Little House Needleworks all dolled up. And this is Snowy Pines. And so I just have this kitted with this kind of raw natural linen. And then the called for DMC. I just love that little bear. He's got like a snowflake on his nose. I just think it's really cute. I don't know that this is, I'm feeling the vibes of this right now because it's more winter, but I do think it's a fun little small. So that's something that could come out soon. You've seen this one recently if you've been following me. This is a Lizzie Kate from back in the early 2000s. I think it was actually 2000. And it's Cherish All Living Things. And I love that it's got like a garden scene, a mountain scene, and fish in the water. I have this kitted up with called for and or close to called for. This is one I started back in the day when it came out. And it's a hot, tragic mess. But I will be restarting it at some point on 18 count. This is like a butter yellow color or lemon yellow color from Mystic Fabrics. Then I've got in this pouch, this is a Love You More Studio Co pouch. This is a Tula fabric. This one is holding that freebie I got from somebody when I purchased 2 of her Little House Needleworks. This one is Blessed Are the Meek, and it has a sheep and has cardinal. So cute. And so I have pulled for this a small piece of Aida. I believe this is an 18 count Aida. And then I just pulled some flosses from my collection. I've got, like, this is a Mrs. Sados silk. This is a classic Colorworks Shabby Sheep because I thought I don't need more than that. The red is Cherry Wine, I believe. And then I've got 2 color and cotton in here. So I like that one for a start at some point. This one is another pouch I sewed. This used to hold my HL's moth because it was Magical Moth Sow. It currently is holding a Satsuma Street Libra, and I am a Libra. And so for this, I have pulled a piece of 18 count Navy Aida, and I went through and pulled, I think it's mostly the DMC, so it's really bright and fun. So yeah, that's one that's kitted and ready to go. This looks familiar because I have another bag out of it, but I did have enough to make myself a pouch. And in here I have Erica Michaels. This is one of these 3 remain. This is Faith. This was one that came with the silk gauze. This I have a piece of 36 count Memory from Picture This Plus. So this really pretty dusty purple. And then I have pulled to do this because the way that this is because it was the silk chart. This is all stitched. The green, the dark, everything, because the silk gauze is obviously silk gauze. I pulled this really pretty teal, dark teal, green, blue Threadworks. And this is Threadworks 10244. So I have that kitted. I purchased that at Stitches from the Heart in San Antonio. This one was another one you might have seen just recently because I had this one. It's living in a Tula pouch I sewed. This was part of March Madness. This is Tudor Roseberry by Erica Michaels. This was part of last year, I believe, All About Berries Club. And I actually have some of the finishing materials. And it came with the floss. I purchased this off of Stash and Load. It has the floss. And I pulled a piece of, what did I pull? Oh, I think it's on here. Or if it's not, it's stuck to something. So hold on. 36 count vintage maple sugar. And this is by Lakeside Linens. And it's a beautiful piece of fabric. Speaking of, I do have some pretty fabrics still left on my D-stash. I did a bunch of D-stashing. I also have a couple Blackberry Design charts because I realized I don't want to stitch Anniversaries from the Heart. I want to stitch Garden Club. So I am de-stashing the 5 Anniversaries of the Heart chart. I've already sold 3. I've got 2 left. So yeah, and I've already bought the 2 Garden Club, the first 2 of those. All right, so those are my small pouches that I have stuff in. In this bag, I have, this is from the current issue of Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine. And this is Hedgehog House. It is by Stephanie of Lindy Stitches. And I have pulled for this. This was a piece I got in a Mystic Fabrics grab bag. And it's just a piece of Aida. I don't even know what color. And I pulled the DMC for the most part. I think it's mostly DMC for it. And it's close to the called for or called for. So that one's over here, and it's a cute little small. It's the pouch. This is the bag I sewed with some of the Dorothy's Discovery fabric. And then the inside has what looks like her dress. And living in here is fabric. This is a Mystic Fabrics. This doesn't have a name. It's a one-off, but I had it in my collection. So pretty. And this bag smells amazing, but you might know why, you might not. That's because this bag is full of Mrs. Sadas silks. And so I am going to, this is for Emerald City Sal and or another Wizard of Oz piece. I have a couple in mind that I am wanting to convert to use the silk pack for. And I will share that with you. I apologize, I'm getting snuffly as this goes on and on. Alright, I think I've showed this in a previous video, but I did finally select a fabric, and that is Mirabilia's Alice. And it's by Nora Corbett. And I am going to be stitching her and the entranceway, but none of the curtains. That's how I want to stitch her. And I had 2 fabrics I was choosing. Well, I did a floss toss, and I settled upon the 32 count Lavender Lugana. Picked that, so that is ready. Has all the DMC in there. I don't have the fancy flosses or the beads yet. Living in this bag, this is a So Much to Love bag. They are on Etsy, and this is my cute butterfly. This is Kathy Barrick's Painted Wings, and there's a whole story behind this that I will not talk to you about right now because this video is going to be long enough. But go back to like, there's a video back in like the single digits maybe, where I talk about how awesome that chart is and how awesome Kathy Barrick is and how she's my BFF. I think this is a 30, I think it's on the back here, 32 count Mystic Fabrics. This was a one-off. It's beautiful. And I'm doing a color conversion on this to Mrs. Sadas. Yeah, this is 32 count linen. I am doing a color conversion. The white, or the cream and the black, are going to be cream and charcoal gray. And then my colors of my butterflies are going to be purple, this rosy pink, this lighter purple, and this purpley pink. So I'm really excited about my color palette for that and starting that at some point. And then this kind of has a pinky-ish hue to it. It's a brown, but it has a bit of a pinkness to it. And of course, it's living in my Painted Wings bag. Here we go. We're getting to the end of the pile. Okay, this is by With Thy Needle and Thread, Bridget Gervais. This is October Feast. Has a squirrel on it. And I have a piece, this was another grab bag piece. They stitch up pretty small. This is a vintage country mocha. I believe this is an 18 count. And I have, the fancy floss for this. But it's not going to use it all. And what I don't use will go into my collection. So as you can see, it's autumnal and fun. You know, these are deceptive though. Because it may look like a really small and it's stitched up really small. It's got a lot of stitches. I've had that kitted for a while. It needs to get started. It's such a cute chart. All right. This is a So Much to Love bag. I believe this was the November bag of the month from 2019. And in this lives Ink Circles Aspen Mandala, which is beautiful. And I am stitching this on the called for Mystic Fabrics Winter Solstice, which is a pretty purpley blue linen. And I think, I didn't write it down, but I think it's like a 32 count. And then I am stitching it in the called for flosses. I did a couple of substitutions because when I pulled them at my LNS, they came up too shocking. And so I subbed in something else, but it's a beautiful autumnal color palette. So again, this is another one that I'd love to get started at some point. It's another kind of endeavor, a larger project. As you can see, this is kind of my bucket of large projects. There are a couple smalls in there, but a lot of big ones. Okay, and then this one, I think this is a for sure start in May. This is Blackbird Designs. Oh, that's upside down. All Joys for Thine. And I've been watching a lot of Flosstube. And Nicole's needlework, she just finished it. And it's beautiful. And I think I also saw it on Brenda and the Cereal Starter. Nicole gave one away with the fabric. I am using a piece, I think I actually, when I ordered this, I ordered it with all the flosses and the called for fabric. So this is 18 count. I am doing 18 count. And that's the called for palette. I will let you know that this will be in May. And if you're still watching in May and subbed in May, I might have one of these for one of you. I'm not gonna tell you what all, but I might. And I need to get a bag for this one. I need to make a bag for this one. I have some fabric. I've got some time, so I guess I could. All right, one more from this bucket, and that will be it for the things this week. This is another Be Crafty bag, and this was fabric I sent her. And this holds Ink Circles Quaker Floral Puzzle. And I've had this kitted up for so long. And I actually reached out to Misty at Mystic Fabrics back when I kitted this and asked her if she had a charcoal colored Aida because I needed a big swath. She did not at the time, so she actually custom dyed for me this one. And this is a 1/2 yard. It's huge. I think she asked if I wanted the 1/2 yard or if I wanted just the 1/4 yard. I told her, give me the 1/2. So I have this. It kind of comes across a little bit. That's obviously not super accurate. I'm trying to get the tag in there so it will. Anyway, it's a good charcoal. It's got modeling in it. I love it. I converted this using a bunch of Victorian mottos. So yeah, I've had this kitted for a while. I'm not feeling it like super pumped right now, but I'm not gonna unkit it because I love it. But I'm starting to like, I kind of did the pastel like they have, but I'm starting to think I might like it if it was more vibrant. So I might be re-kitting it. I may be pulling those and kind of taking the tones and ramping them up. We'll see. I don't know. So those are things that are on my possible radar for starts. Obviously, I've got the Be Well and Stitch. I've got Gathering Eggs coming up here pretty quickly. And then I've got Whipco stuff. I mean, I've got plenty to do and plenty of time on my hands. Now, granted, I am still teaching. I am still helping out my students. I am still, obviously, my daughter's teacher. Considering she's in 2nd grade, she can't do this on her own. Now, our middle and high school kids are doing a lot of this on their own. And their parents are not feeling quite as much pressure as our younger kiddos because we've pushed out online learning all the way down to pre-K 3 day, which are like 4-year-olds and new 4-year-olds. So anyway, I really hope if you stuck in this long, that you heard something that brought you something positive. Because we can all use a little bit of extra positive in our lives right now. And I really appreciate the time that you put in each week, taking the time to watch me, to listen to me ramble, to listen to me talk about cross stitch. I mean, I know that for some of us, it is the one thing that's keeping us sane. I also know for some, stitchy bugs have been lost, and hopefully those will come back soon for you. One thing I will say is I lost mine when this very first started, like at the beginning of last week. Wasn't gone for long, but I felt like it could be something that could go away for a while. And so I literally just had to pull out a project that was a mindless project. I didn't pull out one of my intricate ones. I didn't pull out something that was silks, or that I just literally pulled out something that just I could put stitches in. And that was awesome. And so I hope you find joy this week. There is joy in this journey, and there's joy in every journey. And I know that some of you, your roads are rocky right now. I am prayerful for everyone out there who is considered an essential person and is out there working. I am prayerful for those who are on the front lines of all of this. I have many a friend who are in healthcare right now, or are first responders. I am prayerful for those of you that are teachers out there, that your whole world has been shaken and you were not ready to say goodbye to your kids yet this year, and you're missing out on some of the really cool fun stuff that we do in the spring, and that's heartbreaking. I'm prayerful for those parents out there who are trying to balance becoming their child's teacher and doing their own work. I mean, still being a working parent. So I have pushed this till almost 9 o'clock tonight. It started about a bit rocky. I feel like we finally got in a groove here pretty quick. And so with that, I'm going to go ahead and bid you farewell until next Friday. And I pray for each of you. I love this community and how we build each other up. And so I hope that you will stitch and be well. This next week. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye and have a great one. And I will see you soon. Bye, friends.